One of my all-time favorite groups, New Edition. Over a 30-plus year period, they had 6 albums. 8 if you want to count that Christmas album and the Under the Blue Moon album, which they sang Earth Angel and I think Helplessly in Love. No, Helplessly in Love might have been on another soundtrack. But all in all, 30-plus year career with New Edition and basically 6 albums. With, all the members, Ralph Tresvant as the lead vocal, Johnny Gill as the co-lead vocal, Ricky Bell as probably the second lead vocal, along with Bobby Brown and Mike Bivins and Ron DeVoe. Background vocals and also throwing some rap in there. And these guys, legendary in their own right. They should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, even though they didn't do rock and roll. But still, these guys... It was interesting watching all the drama and listening to all the drama with these guys throughout the years, and yet and still, they come together and make history on tours or BET specials or Soul Train Awards or anything like that. Everyone's always excited to see them. And the guys are in their mid to late 50s, all of them. And, some of them put on weight. And I'd have to say that Ron DeVoe, he doesn't age a bit, though. I mean, he was doing the realest age. You see him in 2016 and 17 on social media talking about an album he's going to have coming out, and he's in his friend's studio, which looks like a garage with some secondhand equipment. But that's neither here or there. I'm not ranting about Ron DeVoe, but about New Edition itself. 83, 84, they get with this guy, Maurice Starr, and he brings them out, and they do the Candy Girl album. And that was a good album because they were just coming out as the next Jackson 5. Had the same kind of sound. And then they do their next self-titled album, New Edition, with Lost in Love and all that stuff. And that's when the drama starts happening and they all vote Bobby Brown out. And they do the All for Love album, which had the Count Me Out on it, and it was just the 4 members. And then they went away for a while. Bobby Brown brings out his Girl Next Door album. Didn't really sell too much. And then 87 and 88 comes, and you enter Johnny Gill, and that's where a lot of more of the riff starts, because not only did they have a riff with Bobby Brown, they voted him out the group, but Mike Bivins calls Johnny Gill and says, "We got a spot for you." Not to fill Bobby Brown's spot, but to fill Ralph Tresvant's spot, because he was talking about leaving. So Mike Bivins and Ron DeVoe is, why not? We need a lead vocalist. So there's tension in the group with that. But yet and all, they still get the Heartbreak album done, and they make amends with everything. And Bobby Brown, in the meantime, blows up. So you got the Don't Be Cruel album, and you got the Heartbreak album. And all these guys they're all good. And then what happens? Johnny Gill and Ralph go solo. In the meantime, what is Bell Biv DeVoe? I'm sorry, I gave that up. But what are the other guys going to do? They start Bell Biv DeVoe and they blow up. And they're all doing good. All album sales are going. Ralph, unfortunately, who is a lead singer, is not doing so well. Johnny Gill blows up, and Bell Biv DeVoe is doing real well. Bobby Brown's, and they're all touring together. So all 6 members are doing good, and they're touring together. All of them have second albums, and they flop. I don't even think Ralph came out with a second album. He just flopped altogether because he wasn't what he thought he'd be as a singles as he was in the group. Johnny Gill gets with LSG and Keith Sweat and Gerald Levert, and he has some success there. But these guys are all touring and everything, and their second albums aren't doing so well. So they get back together. All 6 members get back together, and they do, I think, what is the Home Again album. And they're all featured on that. And they're all touring again. And then riff breaks out all over the tour, and then they all get upset with each other, and people aren't showing up. In the meantime, Mike Bivins starts the East Coast family with Boys to Men and all these guys, and in the meantime, Johnny Gill is still going back doing LSG albums with them and getting a little success with them. But they're still touring. And so, of course, Bell Biv DeVoe is always going to be back together. Ralph is still trying. He's putting out albums nobody knows about. From what I understand from what the movie, and I didn't know this in detail, is Ricky Bell gets on drugs. But all in all, these guys they're still touring together. And getting together, breaking up, people not showing up for shows. Bobby Brown, of course, is going through his drama with Whitney Houston and whatnot. But these guys, I think they do the BET Awards, and Puff Daddy sees them and signs them to Bad Boy and gives them a terrible deal. And then a riff jumps in with that. And lo and behold, Bobby Brown, Johnny Gill, and Ralph Tresvant form a group called Heads of State without the knowledge of BBD. And there's a rift. The 3-on-3, Bell Biv DeVoe against the Heads of the State. You go back and look at an interview and Ricky Bell sitting around talking about, I don't know what's going on. Bell Biv DeVoe wasn't doing anything at the time. So these three got together and they decided to do something and call themselves Heads of the State. I guess because they were lead singers. I don't know. That's the only reason I can get from that. So then there's a rift with that. And they're upset at each other. And later on, then they come back together and Johnny Gill gets the song out. I think all of them are in it. Mike Bivins says it's a New Edition song. Johnny Gill says it's his song. However, it's on Johnny Gill's album. And New Edition doesn't have an album. So that answers that question. And then Ralph and Johnny Gill, who wasn't the original member anyway, they get the New Edition name patented and trademarked as their own, which causes a rift with all of them. Ralph and Johnny are like, well, no one owned the rights to the name, so we figured we just try and get in on it, and now the name belongs to them. I don't know how Johnny Gill could even do this without contacting the original members. So then Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike go on tour, and they call themselves RBRM because they can't use the New Edition name, but they're singing all their songs. This, my friend, is my favorite group, New Edition. But I love the music they put out. And I love watching the story and the rift between them. If you can, watch their movie, their TV movie. It was on BET. But let me know. Let me know what your favorite New Edition song is in the comments. And there you have it. New Edition. This is the Waters Rant.